show. We've got some. Cece and I are having. Cece's my work spouse, and we're having some marital issues. I met LeBron 10 years ago, but
years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But the shoes were. I've never seen that version of them.
No.
The I'm King and those giant letters, those never seen. So we almost had them on the show. Didn't quite happen.
All right. If I was there, guys, I just want to say I'd give a little bit of the Jenna, and we'd get the shoes.
Jimmy Fallon was sitting behind me. I had to move my head so he could see the court.
He did. We had a good discussion with about Cardi B with Jimmy Fallon. She was on with him last night. You were.
Al Roker told me to tell you hello.
Al Roker was there. Al Roker
last
was in front of us, and I said to
literally the only
I said,
person
this
out
man's
there."
living your best life. The world's most famous weatherman sitting in front of
Did
Cece.
he say hi, Elise?
What? Oh, yeah, he said he missed you.
I give up. Time for some stories to start. I am going with you next time. I'm going to nap all day, and I'm going to the game. Cleveland Browns are on the clock.
They got a lot of matinee games next season.
The #1 pick. They're reportedly still deciding between quarterback Sam Darnold and Josh Allen. Chris, who would you take if you were Cleveland with that first pick? Would be the question that I'm asking. To which you would have to answer.
I'm taking Josh Allen.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Because I have a starting quarterback for at least a year and a half. I have the time to be able to groom him. I believe that he has the most arm talent in the draft. And I believe that if you give him time, he can develop to be a great NFL player. I believe Sam Darnold is the most ready right now, but if I'm in Cleveland, I don't need a guy ready right now.
CC's point is they have Tyrod Taylor, so it's not a guy that you have to plug in immediately. I respect the fact that Josh Allen has been very self-aware during this process. He's done a bunch of interviews and poked fun at the facts. Like, listen, I get it. I'm the prototypical bust, right? A guy who wasn't that good in college, but everyone loves my measurables. I like that part about him. But I do think he is the prototypical bust for a reason. Like I've never seen a quarterback as inaccurate as him in college all of a sudden become a great pro. He was honorable mention Mountain West, not even first or second team Mountain West his last year there. So if I'm picking between those two, I would take Darnold. Josh Rosen is my quarterback of choice in this draft, but it looks like the Browns have narrowed it down to those two players.
Jenna, there is no spot position-wise than quarterback that people miss more on transferring from college to the pro. So when people say that they're experts in this, no, they are not. All right? They are lucky at best.
How high did they project Tom Brady?
It was a 6th round pick, 199.
To the NBA, last night the Thunder beat Miami to clinch a playoff berth behind Russell Westbrook's 25th triple-double this season. Nick, what's OKC's ceiling in the playoffs?
The absolute ceiling. Everything works right. Matchups hit right. Steph's injury lingers. Western Conference Finals. They're looking like they're probably the 6th seed. They could beat Portland. Right now they have a top 10 defense and the number 11 offense. If they tick the offense up a few spots, you can go beat Portland. And then if you get Golden State without a fully healthy Steph Curry, sure, their absolute ceiling is Western Conference Finals. That would turn around what has to me been the most disappointing year of any good team in the NBA to a very successful year. I don't think it's likely, but that's their ceiling.
People talk about the glass ceiling. If they get beyond the second round, they'd be breaking the glass. All right? Like, I don't think the finals is their real potential, is their ceiling. No. The second round is their ceiling. They haven't been very good all season. Now, all of a sudden, were they supposed to catch fire for a week or two? No, a week. That's the first round, a week and a half.
Yes.
Yes, and you could be out in a week. In 4 games, you can be out. So, no, I don't expect them. I don't see where they're going to catch fire and how they're going to score enough points. Their offense is troubling.
Okay.
Second round.
All right, second round. Finally, in a recent interview, Sixers rookie Ben Simmons was asked who he believes should win Rookie of the Year. He said, quote, me, 100%. Simmons is an elite company. His 12 triple-doubles as a rookie are second most in NBA history behind only Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson. So, CC, what do you make of Simmons proclaiming himself Rookie of the Year?
Well, he had the best season. They asked him a question. Who's the Rookie of the Year? He has been the Rookie of the Year. I don't know why he should have said someone else. Like, it's an honest answer. It's clear he's been better than the rest of the pack. This to me it's not that difficult. Now, Ben Simmons, we haven't heard too much of him. Hadn't done a whole bunch of interviews, haven't had a whole bunch of sound bites from him, but his play has spoken for itself on the court. When you mention in the same breath as Oscar Robertson, that's saying something right there. Donovan Mitchell, No one campaigned harder for him.
That's
and
right.
my campaign wasn't for him to be Rookie of the Year. My campaign was that people would notice his overall play. And don't have some West Coast bias because he's in Utah or something like that. Or don't have some bias that's created by lack of knowledge. He's had an amazing rookie year coming after his second year at Louisville. Great draft pick. Also, the Gordon Hayward leaving. Oh, they don't miss him as much now because of Donovan Mitchell. So great things happen there in Utah, but Philadelphia and Ben Simmons is the true Rookie of the Year.
And listen, on Donovan Mitchell's side, just quickly here, he is only the 9th rookie in 20 years to average at least 20 points per game. He's only the 2nd rookie in 20 years to do that for a playoff team. The only other guy who had done it in the last 20 years was Carmelo Anthony, who we actually talked about earlier in the show. Like, Donovan Mitchell, most years, would be the runaway favorite for Rookie of the Year. This year's different. Like, most years, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum's the discussion. Ben Simmons, forget Rookie of the Year. Of course he's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to show up on some All-NBA ballots. He might be 3rd-team All-NBA this year as a rookie. That's something LeBron didn't do. To be an All-NBA guy your rookie season. Now, what you're going to find out about Ben Simmons, my good friend Jenna Wolf, is Ben Simmons is the type of athlete that I love that tends to maybe rub you slightly the wrong way. Ben Simmons has some opinions now, and he certainly thinks very highly of his own ability, and he should. Like, I have no beef with anything he said. I think he's being honest. But Ben Simmons, the more he talks, the more we're going to see there's a reason he self-glossed himself with the nickname Young Prince to go with King James.
I love this quote. Have any other rookies caught your eye? Ben Simmons says, none. He says, I want to be where the greats are. So for me, I watch the guys like Durant, LeBron, Curry, Russ, guys like that. That's where I want to be. I think for me, that's where I love to watch. So yes, of course, he has some of that in him. But my question quickly to you before we move on, how much of his success this year is because he did take a year off? Not intentionally, obviously, but...
We can't equate it. But being familiar with the NBA, being able to travel with the NBA, seeing NBA practice, being exposed to NBA coaching, the training, being able to take care of his body, to physically get his body ready for the regiment. Well, now it's not the coaches just telling you something.
Yeah.
You've actually seen it.
Yeah.
You spent a year traveling around. You kind of understand the rigors of the NBA. What are some of the traps that young players get caught into? What are some of the cities and certain things you have to watch out for? All that's invaluable. It's like someone giving you got a final exam, and the teacher says, you know something, Jen, I'm going to let you take the exam home tonight and let you prepare for it. So absolutely, your chance of doing, I mean, he's at a serious advantage on the rest of the field having an extra year.
And just look at the development of his upper body muscularly from his 1 year at LSU to this year playing for Philadelphia, especially because he's not a shooter, because he scores his baskets in the paint. Having that upper body developed over a year where he's a professional athlete has been wildly invaluable to him. So, yeah, I think that much like...
A year off didn't help his jump shot, though, Jim.
Didn't help his jump shot, but Blake Griffin won a Rookie of the Year this way, by the way.
Basketball player who has no jump shot. Yeah. That is like a...
He's not the only one, but he's one of the most prominent ones.
They're not winning Rookie of the Year.
Fair
That's
enough.
what makes it so much more fun to talk about. Moving on to last night's Cavaliers game. CC and Nick in attendance at the Garden. Jenna wasn't. That's the last time I bring that up. Cavs came, saw, conquered. They won their 50th game of the year behind a 26-point, 11-assist performance from LeBron. They'll play the Knicks again tomorrow in Cleveland. If they win, they will finish with 51 wins on the season, an insanely drama-filled season. Last year, with stability and Kyrie, they had 51 wins. Go figure. LeBron spoke after the game.
I mean, listen, throughout a long season, if you're able to accomplish feats, no matter what's going on, you should always try to appreciate it, try to take time. I've been one, I'm kind of like, been a hypocrite of that because I'm always moving and trying to figure out how we can be better the next day or whatever the case be. So it's always hard for me to be like, okay, another division crown, you know, even after everything that's going on with our team and our ball club this year. But it's a pretty cool thing.
All right, Nick, this has been an unbelievably dramatic year, if you will, for the Cleveland Cavs. Between roster changes and injuries and trades and whatnot, and the new names coming through here, how impressed, surprised, gobsmacked were you that they're going to end with the same amount of wins, basically?
Yeah, this is, I mean, LeBron's got a long list of unbelievable accomplishments. This isn't at the top of it. But it's on that upper shelf. I mean, this is Last night, LeBron became the first player ever to win 10 straight divisional titles. The only guys ever with 9 straight were either on the Lakers in the 80s or Russell's Celtics. LeBron's obviously done it with 2 different organizations. This will also be LeBron's 10th consecutive, personally, 50-win season. It is his 12th overall 50-win season. That's something where eventually he will set the all-time record in as well. But to win the same amount of games this year as they did last year, it answers what, to me, has been one of the most fun what-ifs that has been asked about LeBron James the better part of the last decade. If you put LeBron James on any team in the East, do they become the favorites in the East? And the answer is unequivocally, absolutely, yes. The Cavs right now are the favorites in the East. If LeBron were not on this team, they are the Orlando Magic. A team whose best player would be Kevin Love, who only played 60 games. They are fighting for 20 to 25 wins. So LeBron James, this year, worth 25 games for a team. No one else in the league is worth more than 10. Like, this answers all those great questions about how much is it the system? How much is it the coaching? How much is it the supporting cast? No, it's him. And there were questions about that when he was with Wade or when Kyrie was there. No questions about it this year. You went from Kyrie being traded to IT being hurt to the entire team being traded to Kevin Love being out to Ty Lue being out. They're going into game 82, Jenna, and they have not yet played one game with their full roster.
So then this becomes my question to you guys. Maybe it doesn't matter. The last month, we've been talking about how this Cavaliers team doesn't have a solidified roster where the same 5 are going to show up night after night. And I think maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe what they've done, getting 50, 51 wins, is going to be just fine with this sort of piecemealed group of players that they put together because of LeBron James. What do you think about that, CC?
Well, LeBron James, that's a good start. I mean, if you look at the East, we're trying to make the comparison what they did this year compared to what they did last year, and just because they had Kyrie. Last year, they gave up the #1 seed and lost their way to 50 wins. This year, they had to win. They had to push the gas at the end. They won 9 out of the last. They won last one. They won 9 out of the last 11 games. So, yeah, they're at the same point, but how they got there is totally different. This was an awful regular season. This was an ugly regular season. They also lost their superstar of the future in Kyrie Irving. So, man, this is the type of season. We talked about Russ earlier, like this being monumental. Man, this is a monumental season in Cleveland. This is going to be the season that they lost LeBron. Forget about what happens in the playoff. LeBron decides to leave them. Wait, we're not going to be sitting around talking about, oh, man, they won 50 games. Oh, they won 51 games. No, that's going to be the season that led to LeBron exiting Cleveland. So we can sit around and be like, yeah, great regular season. Yeah, they accomplished with everything they went through, winning 50 games, it is an accomplishment. Okay, let's get a small hand clap. Now let's watch and see what happens after that. Because for me, it's the aftermath that is more important than the totality of the season.
Do you think there was, pre-Kyrie being traded, do you think LeBron was still on his way out of town? Even if they had kept Kyrie?
No.
You think? Okay.
No.
All right. So I think
No, when you're in search of a young superstar, Kyrie Irving is at the top of that list. And he didn't have the type of relationship with LeBron that they couldn't coexist. LeBron still wanted to keep Kyrie. So, yes, that changed everything in Cleveland for me.
So for you, I just want to make sure I understand. Once that trade happened, anything short of them winning the championship this year was going to be an enormous disappointment. Right? Because it helps usher LeBron further out the door. They lost their future superstar in Kyrie. I just want to make sure I understand it.
LeBron's goals is winning championships. All right? When they traded Kyrie, they're not a championship team. They don't have championship pedigree. They don't have the roster for a championship. So when Kyrie changed, to me, that changed their arc. How high their ceiling could be, that changed with Kyrie Irving. Because I knew that LeBron can't do that with Kevin Love.
All right. Did you get your answer?
Well, yeah.
I was busy sneezing, so I did.
No problem.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Something isn't.
The pollen. It's 32 degrees in New York.
Again, it's raining. I can't wait to talk to Joy Taylor about how it's pouring rain all day today in New York. Coming up, can Eli and Odell make it work for years to come? Eli seems to think so. Next on First Things First.